Met last week with pushback in Smith County Commissioners Court passed today, but only by one vote. A slim majority voting to amend 2 tax reinvestment zones within the city of Tyler, areas in which tax dollars from that area are reinvested in that area.
3-2, motion carries.
With 3 members voting for and 2 against, the Smith County Commissioners Court signed off on new agreements with the city of Tyler, dealing with 2 reinvestment zones, one covering North Tyler and the other covering downtown.
We're talking about identifying an area that's really primed for reinvestment, and then taking those tax dollars, the incremental revenue, back into that district and reinvesting into that district.
The issue first came before the court last week, but was tabled after members of the public and commissioners asked for more time to review the plans. Concerns were also raised about extending the zone's expiration dates to 2060.
When you look at how far out that is, and I thought just the nebulousness of what the real plan is to do with that much money, I just couldn't support it. I'm all about collaboration between city government and county government. I just needed more specifics, and it wasn't there.
Ultimately, the court voted to leave the expiration dates as they are. 2038 for the northern zone and 2046 for downtown. The changes they did agree to include the county having equal representation on each zone's board and upping the county's commitment downtown from 75% to 100%.
We're both working together on the downtown area, so it's going to supply maintenance and safety and all the different things that go on down on that square. It's going to help pay for that, and so it's offsetting costs that we normally would take on with our normal budget.
But Commissioner Terry Phillips argued some of those expenses are the city's, and the county shouldn't be helping.
You know, that's the city of Tyler's responsibility to pay for policing within town of Tyler and all those kind of things, you know.
City of Tyler citizens are county taxpayers, and that's an important part. They care about downtown, they care about the county buildings, they care about county roads and Tyler Street. So we're working together with the city, and I think this is a good plan.
And here's another look at how each member of the Commissioners Court voted this morning. Both zone amendments passed with 3 members voting for and 2 voting against.